Hi. So in my previous video, I was talking about the Holy Grail. So you are the Holy Grail, which had to be emptied. So you had to go through the purging and cleansing and becoming clear and empty as the empty cup from the conditioning, from all social and family conditioning, ancestral crap, whatever, fear, beliefs, dogmas, rules, obligatory living, etc., etc. So, okay, you've done that. So you went through the dark night of the soul. So now your cup is empty. Now you finally can receive pure source knowledge. You can access anything you want. You can have questions and you access source knowledge, the knowledge of source. It's vastness. It's vast. It's amazing. And you can ask any questions. Once you have that ability, you opened up your channels, cleared the crap, you can access all kinds of knowledge. If you want, you can know who killed Kennedy. It does not matter. You can look into the Akash. You can do anything in that sense. Of course, you're using that for accessing something which is serving you, and as you serving you and your joy, because if this is your joy, then you will share it, and that will be this joy which will be your own happiness. It will be something that fulfills you. Creativity will fulfill you. That is what really fulfills you. To fulfill your soul's mission, your destiny, whatever, that is the self-created destiny. It's not the repetition, because once you have changed the star constellation of your destiny, which is nothing else. You heard about the spear of destiny, right? The spear of destiny, because everything and everybody speaks in symbology. But most people never learned how to decode and really know how to interpret symbology. You learn at first to really dissect and interpret your dreams in the beginning, because you will have these heightened dreams, those really vivid dreams. There will be a lot of fearful dreams, there will be a lot of nightmares, and then there will be a lot of other stuff. But we're talking about the spear of destiny. You are going to pierce through all the bullshit. And the spear of destiny is nothing else but really self-knowledge. And through self-knowledge, wisdom can come in. And through all that, you will sense things. You will have heightened ESP. And you will not repeat the past. Because imagine, you can live a lifetime if you want. And if you don't know, and if you don't learn, if you're not really accessing those things, and if you do not choose, but eventually you will choose, because you will just have enough of the bullshit, So you want to go beyond that. So this is when your awakening and that particular lifetime will happen. That final transition, that really you become that one. You became separated within, and you become one again within. All that will happen within yourself. And so you will learn decoding. You are the lock and you are the key, and then you will know how to use all that within. And so, like I had the dream, I don't know, like 2 months ago or a month ago or so, when I was, I've changed my destiny because I have made another choice. There was this conditional self who was locked into self-deceptive mode. And self-deception is the hardest conditional self which is the hardest we will to leave and to go beyond, because it feels like a freaking magnet, because you have been doing that for so many lifetimes that is trying to pull you back into the same shit, the same situation, the same partner, something which is not serving your growth. But it's kind of like going back and stepping back so much that you eventually will be lost in that reality. You don't want to get lost in that reality. So by that time, when that such huge, strong influence will enter your life during the awakening process, you will have enough knowledge, wisdom, heightened ESP, intuition, your highest educational system within, which is built in. You will have enough of that to discern, dissect, decode, and access the knowledge of your multidimensional self, who constantly informs you which way to go, and which way is the growing and which way is the stepping back. So this is what you are going to find out. But by that time, you will be able to access that. Maybe you are there at this moment. Maybe you already encountered that final so-called, I don't say temptation, but it's something which is so strong in your conditional self that basically is here to delete and clear the debris. So you will meet someone, and you will always meet someone, and everybody is helping you and assisting you to grow further and move on. But some of them had less influence, others have more influence, and then there will be the really big ones when you will feel that, holy shit, this is, it's like you really have to bring in all your intellectual knowledge, meaning yourself, your self-knowledge, your logic. You have to be able to decode. You have to bring in your ESP. Your intuition will go over and higher drive. You will actually feel nausea when you are about to take a step which is against your soul's knowledge and your higher destiny. Okay, let me put it this way. So you're building a new timeline for yourself here, but for that you have to be able to detach from the old timeline which you had been recycling many lifetimes prior to that, prior to this. So you have to be able to, you have to be pretty much on top of everything in that moment to be able to detach yourself from that self-destructive recycling of the past. So it is amazing. It will be your hardest thing probably to completely detach and move beyond this lifetime, move beyond something which you could not do before. And you had kept repeating that shit for countless lifetimes. It could be a partner that you just could not get rid of because you had such a strong sexual attraction to that you were willing to lower yourself back to that old small human timeline, which is living for the senses of the physical senses. But she already or he already knows that this would not fulfill her in any way. It would rather destroy her. So it's like all of a sudden you feel like your body wants to do that, but your soul just says, please do not destroy yourself. Do not destroy your consciousness. Do not destroy the clarity that you have gained over, let's say, the last 12 or 13 years. You are at the final countdown. Please, do not waste. I am telling you a dream of mine. In that particular moment when I had such a strong attraction, physical attraction to someone, and at the same time my soul was sending me and I was dreaming, and my intuition and everything, I was just constantly reminded of what I'm about to enter if I cannot resist such physical attraction, which my soul was showing me that it would destroy me completely. I would drop back to the bottom of the sea, man, in consciousness. So I was, I had prophetic dreams. I was, told and showed how would I end up if I went back into that. And then all of a sudden this, a guy shows up from primary school that was my platonic love once when I was like 12 years old or 14 or something like that. It was a platonic love. It was like we were kids. And he was not in love with me. He loved somebody else, whatever, but I had this whatever, ding, ding, ding. And his name was the same as the one that I just met. Again, in this lifetime, who I had several lifetimes with. And I was in Vegas, for God's sake. This guy, this primary school guy, I did not see him for 50 years or something, or 40 years. And then all of a sudden he shows up in my dream and says, "Stella, what are you doing? Are you willing?" I mean, he did not say gambling, but I was in gambling city, right? Are you really willing to gambling away your awareness, your consciousness, your growth for a physical attraction? When you already know and you've been showed in countless dreams how you would end up if you entered that relationship. And you cannot resist that animalistic level of consciousness, because that is just that. But your soul will not be fulfilled by that. Ever. It's like entering a black hole. You're gonna be lost in that. So I knew everything. And believe it or not, even with all that knowing, even with all that I had been through, and I knew, and I have seen, and I have worded, I wrote it, I journaled it, and all that stuff, I knew. I have been receiving messages what this whole thing is about. And even with all that knowledge, I had the hardest time to resist, not to turn back, not to lower me back to that. And the funny thing was, the more time I spent with that person, all that brain fog came over. It was like, entering his field of confusion, of all of his unconsciousness. It was like entering sewage. I was swimming in sewage. So even with all that knowledge, there will be a time when you have to make the final step over recreating and changing your destiny. That is the spear of destiny. This is what it is. And you will know, and only your wisdom will help you. Only your wisdom will save you. Only that. And all the senses, which is beyond the physical senses. So by that time, you will have enough multidimensional abilities to really exit something